What it do, snackers, snackettes, and snack X's? It's your boy Gage. Jokes is here with me, and Sin went to get some tea.
You said he was only going to leave less than a minute, but that clearly didn't work.
Very wrong. I want to apologize to anybody who is watching right now. We had a little bit of a snafu, so we're running a little bit behind. Had some trouble with the software, blah blah blah, yakety schmackety, some trouble with the timer, all of that jazz. If you can't tell, your boy is a tad under the weather. Tested positive for that COVID, so I am in here. But I mean, the show must go on. We gotta have a show, right, Jokes?
You know it.
All right. So, Mr. Minute and 30-second T is back.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot to talk about. This ain't Concrud. This is
this people. Is that level beyond just
regular old people crud right here. And it's just me. Well, fortunately, you know what I mean. Everybody else is good and is on the up and up, and so we plan to keep it that way. So thank you for bearing with us as we kind of got things squared away. I want to thank everybody who tuned in last night for the discussion for the movie club Transformers. We had a lot of technical issues with that, so I appreciate those of you who stuck with us. Doctor Who, appreciate you. You test positive, but send the one who looks sick. Go figure. Well, that's just listen. Let me explain something. This is how Sin looks cute. So he put his little joint over his head, his little scarf on, whatever. That's how he get cute. He's cute. Look at him. Look at him. Take the words down so we can see you good, Sin. You ain't got you dedicated right now. You dedicated. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all stupid.
That's how you get cute. Yeah. So that's all. Yeah. Him going to get tea doesn't have anything to do with him being sick. It's not, you know what I mean? It's just how you feel. You all are now tuned in to Loaded Snacks Weekly, where we get together once a week and we talk about things that are happening in pop culture. And today we have a little less energy. We have a lot to discuss. That is what's going on today. Before we dig too deep into it, Jokes, you have a job to do. He'll get that Beacons link up for you guys.
Yeah.
And gals, so that you may follow us across the board everywhere. It's very helpful for you to follow us wherever we are, for you to share the word. We're trying to build that following. Building that following not only helps us just in terms of numbers, but it helps us in terms of additional assets that we can bring in. When we're looking for sponsorships and that kind of a thing. So definitely please make sure you're following us across everywhere. Tell your friends. You don't really have to tell them. Just say, hey, go to this and hit the button for them. Like you don't have to tell them. You know what I mean? Just like do it, and then it'll be like, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, Merry Christmas. Got you something. Follow. You know what I'm saying? We appreciate it. Sin, you have a job to do.
Yeah, so let's shout out our top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, and Kermit Ferguson. Thank you very much. We truly, truly appreciate it.
It's true. That's right, Cuddy.
Technically,
all right, so listen.
Slots, Sin.
Right.
Oh, no.
I can take over for JD and
Sin is willing to pay to get stepped on, and we're working on some partnerships with some people. We may have to get a table at Otakon this year. We'll see how that goes.
Step on Sin,
right, Sin?
I have to heard of any of these plans.
I'm not even.
So right now we're just gonna put them here.
All right. So what I will say is that the discussion has been had. Were you part of the discussion? No, Sin. Is it a real thing? Yes.
That's innocent jokes, right? That being stepped on was not part of this discussion. Okay.
Nah, it was. You just weren't there.
Okay.
But we can talk about it offline. Okay, so check this out. Clearly, we're gonna talk about Jonathan Majors. We have to talk about Jonathan Majors. Yep. But before we do, we got to talk about Insomniac. We got to talk about the Insomniac hack. Sin, did you see anything about this Insomniac hack? Started like a week ago.
Yeah, so they got hacked. The people who hacked it ransomed it for like $2 million. We're gonna put out all your business, and Insomniac didn't pay. It was pretty much like, all right, do what you're gonna do, and they did it.
And they did what they was gonna do.
Yeah, they did.
So a hacker group. I mean, stop it, Sam.
I was gonna say stop it.
What's up, Heather?
What's good?
Yeah, that did. So Insomniac got hacked last week. Mm-hmm. The ransom group, the hacker group, asked for 50 Bitcoin, which is basically $2 million. Or they was going to release the information. And technically, they didn't specifically ask Insomniac for that money. They just said to whoever gives it to them. They was going to give the data to whoever paid them. That didn't happen. And so yesterday, basically, they put everything out. Almost everything. They put out like 98% of it, which is leading people to believe that somebody did pay them something for some information. They just don't know what. Now, here's the thing. While there is a lot of talk about, look, the big things obviously are within the gaming community, right? So it's Insomniac's plans for the future, leaked footage and photos and stuff for the new Wolverine game, that kind of stuff, right? They actually leaked a publishing agreement between Sony and Marvel, detailing that they're going to do 3 games. The first of which is the Wolverine game, and that game has to be out by September 1st of 2025. The other 2 games have to be out, one by 2029 and the other one by 2033. 2033. Yeah. So there's a lot of that.
Talk about 2033.
Yeah, I know. But I mean, that's next gen, right? So like, but the other thing about it is it's a lot of personal information, pertinent information to people who work at Insomniac, that kind of stuff. That is just like, I mean, I guess it's a good thing that stuff hasn't necessarily gotten released to the public. But if that hasn't been released and the public doesn't have it, if 98% got released and 2% didn't, if that's the 2% that somebody bought, that is almost just as bad. What I'm saying. So basically, I kind of want to just, what I can tell you is that for those 3 games, Sony is supposed to be spending $120 million per game. The group that did the hack claimed that it only took them 20 to 25 minutes to get the domain administrator.
That's insane.
And that money was their sole motivation. Now, I'm going to tell you that I saw earlier today that apparently they achieved this hack through an old PlayStation 3 game where the servers are still online. It was like one of Insomniac's old games or something like that. That's an old PS3 game that's still online. I can't remember which game it is, but it's something like that. That apparently is how they got in. And y'all know PlayStation 3 security was
trash.
Garbage.
So it's not shocking to hear that that's how they got in.
Yeah, I mean, I look. Here's the thing. This is what I really want to dig into. Sin, hearing this news got me thinking. Is Sony the problem?
I think at this point, you might have to look at it that way. They've had security problems for years upon years, like big security problems with people's information being stolen. And here we are again in that same situation.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all still have not, you've not spent the money to fix this issue, obviously, at this point. So I got it. Yeah, the blame's got to, some of that blame's got, a lot of that blame's got to be put on Sony. Yeah, they shouldn't be getting in like this. That's just ridiculous.
I mean, look, if I'm third party anybody and I'm looking at working with Sony, I'm not Sony security about as tight as a Walmart brand Ziploc bag. You kind of telling the truth, man. Listen,
That's facts.
Here's where I'm at. If I'm third party, if I'm Disney, Marvel, and I'm doing a deal with Sony for anything, and we're not even just talking about games, but we are talking about games, right? I'm not giving them any assets.
Nope.
I wouldn't trust them
Never
to keep anything I give them secure. If there was any information that was pertinent to the MCU, pertinent to something Disney is planning to do down the road, like if I'm anybody, I'm not doing a deal with Sony. I'm just not doing it because unless there's a clause in there that you are going to pay me out the yen with, you know what I mean? If there's a breach, I'm not doing a deal because they're a problem. And when I say that, this is what I'm talking about. So I pulled up the Sony data breaches full-time through 2023. All right. So we're going to work backwards, right? October 2023, Sony notifies employees of data breach. September 2023, Sony investigates alleged hack. August 2017, hacker group accesses Sony social media accounts. December 2014, PlayStation Network taken down by Christmas DDoS attack. November 2014, hackers steal 100 terabytes of data from Sony Pictures. Now, mind you, this joint by itself almost brought us to war with North Korea. It was like a North Korean hacker group. And there was that movie that was like Seth Rogen.
The Interview.
Oh yeah.
The Interview.
Yeah.
Bro, it's out of control, dog. Like, you're talking President Obama and CIA levels of like, yo, what are y'all doing? Getting involved in that. You understand what I'm saying? June 2011, Sony Pictures website hacked, exposing 1 million accounts. May 2011, personal details on 25 million Sony online entertainment customers stolen. April 2011, hackers access personal data of 77 million Sony PlayStation Network users. I mean, it just goes on and on. July 2008, PlayStation site targeted with an SQL injection attack, prompting visitors to download fake antivirus scanner. Like, it just goes on and on and on, bro. It's like at some point, if I'm third party, there's no way, bro. There's no way. Like, I'm reconsidering. If I'm already in some sort of a deal, I'm reconsidering.
Yeah.
I'm already looking at it.
I'm ready to pull out, or like you said, we need to rewrite this where if something happens,
if something gets exposed or whatever, my stuff, you paying me.
Yeah.
Like, this has gotten too out of, like, listen, hackers, like, that we know these companies they hire hackers that are professional that do this in order to prevent them to get into their systems or do whatever. Sony, like, I don't understand it. We know things will happen. It does. People do whatever. But for the sheer track record that has happened through Sony over the years, like, and I don't mean no big jumps and gaps in time, just within the matter of a few years, you get hacked, not necessarily the same exact thing, but the fact that we're letting our own internal employees' information getting compromised, obviously the consumer's information getting compromised. It's like, when does somebody else need to step in to apparently manage your infrastructure? Because clearly
they're an easy target.
Something is wrong.
I just feel like, because you're talking about hacks that, again, released information about their upcoming movie slate.
I want to know what game opened that up.
Who was writing, who, like, it's way, and this is the thing, Sony, I think a lot of people compartmentalize Sony, unfortunately. You know, in this world, I think people really do think about Sony as a video game company. They think about PlayStation. They think about the hardware. I think there are people who don't really think about Sony in any other way than a hardware manufacturer. They think about their radios, their surround sound systems, their TVs, stuff like that, their cameras, right? Sony is a huge, huge music conglomerate, right? Sony owns Columbia. They own, like, the sheer number of artists and people who work and do work for Sony is so, like, you can't even imagine the sheer number of people who can be affected by somebody hacking anything related to Sony, because they actually have their hands in so many things. And it's not that they don't do most of those things very well. As a company, as a whole, they do pretty much all of those things well, except for security.
Yep.
Except for security. And for me, at some point, if you're Sony, with all the money you have and all the money you're making, if you have not already looked at purchasing a company that specifically does that, what are you doing? Outside of just not knowing how to run it, right? Okay, so that's cool. Pay somebody else to do it. Right. Who are you paying to do it?
Microsoft. just do, like, listen, Sony, we know you got your issues with Microsoft, especially after that.
But you already buying stuff from them, so I mean,
just use Microsoft.
Just pick up that phone and just hit that whatever speed dial you got them on. Just go ahead and do it.
I'm not saying it can't. I mean, it happens to other it happens to other companies, right?
Much.
There are data breaches everywhere, right? It happens to Facebook, like it happens across all. But like Sony seems to be, not only do they seem to be a prime target, but they also seem to be extremely susceptible. And those two things together are just, they're bad. They're bad for consumers. It's just, it's bad. They're bad for anybody who wants to do business with you, because you're not able to keep business confidential. You can't guarantee it. You can't promise it. So at some point, I feel like that has to change, right? Like, I don't know who else they might be considering doing business with, right? There are a few parties that are as big as Disney and Marvel. But clearly there's an issue. And in terms of the fact that Insomniac got hacked, and that's what Insomniac happens to be working on, are Disney Marvel properties for the most part. If Sony is that susceptible, then it's likely that they're going to get hit again. That this won't be the last time that it happens.
Time has proven that, yeah.
How long before the next one happens, Sin?
3 years.
All right, Jokes, you with that? 3 years?
I don't even think that long. Honest truth, like, we've been a few years in the mix, because it's just a matter if they learn their lesson. I feel like Sony just doesn't learn their lesson, and they're gonna potentially patch whatever this is, but there's probably still another loophole or something out there that someone can get into. I don't think it's going to be that long.
Let's see. Sam said, if you owned a multi-million-billion-dollar company whose name is in the same sentence as war with North Korea, that's a big clue. There should have been a change yesterday. You're right. I mean, you're right, but it's not. Again, I think so many people compartmentalize Sony, because I don't think most people know whether or not their favorite artist is signed to Sony or is signed to Columbia or sign the Arista or something, like they don't know. I think that people who buy Sony headphones, like they see the same name, but they, for whatever reason, it doesn't register. Sony and PlayStation are the same thing. I don't think that people, when they see Columbia Pictures, that they think of Sony necessarily. Like, I just think it allows them to compartmentalize, and they think, oh, that was that was years ago, right? So that was like a decade ago. So I think people, something that's that big, sure, it's already an issue, but I think people compartmentalize and they just forgive and forget, right? Because they just keep doing business and just keep uploading their data, you know what I mean? Their credit card data and so forth. And I'll be honest, I don't think Sony cares. I think Sony would rather not eat the 33 million they have to pay to fix whatever happens, the 8 million that they lost when they got sued because of whatever, however many games they gave away to people who got caught up in the hack, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like, it just is, people like, oh, all right, well, they sold my credit card information. You gave me a $60 game? Cool. Like, people, it's just weird, you know what I'm saying? And people are just like, oh, all right. You know what I mean? So at some point, I just feel like as a company, because they're not a software company, right? They're a hardware company. More than anything, they're a hardware company, and a record company. Because they're not a software company, that kind of stuff, it just happens to be second to them. It just is. You know what I mean? They're a hardware manufacturer that needs to have software to run some of their hardware, but software and breaches and like software security, like all of that is second. And if it's second in terms of what they sell, it's definitely second in terms of them protecting their product. Like, they're very quick. They have great lawyers. They're very quick to put patents on. Like, people are up in uproar right now because they got a patent out. They put up like a patent yesterday or the day before that's like some sort of an AI that automatically adjusts game difficulty based on how well you play or something like that. And people are like mad about it. Yeah, that's that was in a having new PlayStation game difficulty patent alarms players. Newly published PlayStation patent for game difficulty system has caused some alarm among players. The description provided in Sony's application sounds a lot like adaptive difficulty, but players have noted previous attempts by companies to patent their own iterations of adaptive difficulties, like Shadow of Mordor's Nemesis system, which was successfully patented by publisher Warner Brothers. So, yeah. So there's a whole thing on that, right? I mean, but again, it'll be proprietary and it'll be software that's somewhere. And if somebody steals it and uses it, they have a patent on it, so they can protect themselves. But it doesn't matter, you know what I mean? But like everything else, it gets lost in the breach, including the data of the people who work at the company, right? Like, a lot of what was stolen in this Insomniac hack, again, what we're talking about for the most part is like, oh my gosh, the Wolverine game files or whatever. But no, this is like literally like the HR files from Insomniac were stolen. That's social security numbers, bro. That's, you know what I mean? That's people's medical history. Like, that's phone numbers, addresses. Like, that's crazy. Yeah. You know what I'm saying right now? So it's a lot I control. J. Robert Dean says most companies in the world believe it's cheaper to pay off lawsuits because of data breaches than pay for proactive data security to keep data totally secure, just like car companies and recall fixes. You are 100% correct. And more importantly, people don't stop giving them their information. I think most, like, here's the thing. We're discussing this on this show because we talk about video games. If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be talking about this at all. And most of this is not going to hit mainstream news because most news outlets won't care about it in that way. And so most people will be completely oblivious, right? There are not all of the people who have been out shopping over the last week and a half or 2 weeks, buying PlayStation 5s and whatever, getting ready for Christmas, or, you know what I'm saying, giving out gifts for Hanukkah and, you know what I mean, whatever else, so that like they're getting ready to jump into this ecosystem either again or for the first time, are absolutely not aware and won't be. And in all honesty, if they were, it's a weird. It's like the attitude is like, I spent $500. This thing better keep my. But if it doesn't, what are you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Not
Yep.
right. And most of the time, you just scroll down to the bottom of the EULA.
Yeah, and
right?
just approve it and
Okay.
keep it moving.
Hit accept, and you move on. And so most of the time, you've already said that you cool with it anyway. So it's just, it's kind of par for the course. I'm less concerned about that part of it because I just think people are people, and you're just not gonna change that.
Mm-hmm.
What I do think is more shocking to me is if other companies are continuing to do deals with them, again, like a Marvel or a Disney, when like Marvel is so secretive. Like Disney is they're so secretive about everything.
I need to find an agreement to share security protocols. Maybe that's where the deal needs to be at, because
something, yeah. But it's ridiculous.
I'm just saying. It's a little strange. But again, I don't really think a whole lot will come out of it, but we'll see.
Yep.
Thank you, Kill It.
What up? All right. The elephant in the room. Let's talk about Jonathan Majors. Let's talk about Kang, what isn't the Kang dynasty, and what has happened and how that affects the MCU and the MCU going forward. So Jonathan Majors got a split verdict. So he was found not guilty of intentional assault in the 3rd degree and aggravated harassment in the 2nd degree. We don't believe you, Kidley. You will not be made from that one. He was found guilty on 2 misdemeanor counts of assault in the 3rd degree and harassment in the 2nd degree. He is set for sentencing on February 6th. Happy birthday, Zaina. Could face up to a year in jail. That's not likely to happen.
I don't think so either.
The truth of the matter is, cases like this are generally extremely low profile. They don't generally go after anything or do anything like this because technically they're misdemeanors.
Mm-hmm.
And if it wasn't for the fact that he was a high profile
Jonathan
actor,
Majors, it would never have. Yep.
Why he is yeah, she's fine. I don't know if you saw the videos. The videos I saw were of him running down the street and her chasing him. That's what I saw.
That's what I saw.
Let me just tell you that it would not surprise me at all if he doesn't turn around and sue her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think his career is over either.
Mm-hmm.
His career in Marvel is definitely done. His career with Disney is done because Disney is much further reaching than just Marvel. I would definitely say that. Well, you know what? I'll be honest. I wouldn't even say that. I think that there's a high possibility that after like a year and a half, this blows over. I think just depending on what his sentences is, how he's been very quiet. He hasn't really said anything, and I think it could go any number of ways, to be honest with you. And like, there are people who get caught up in way worse than what this is, that just somehow keep getting jobs and keep working. Back. Yeah, so like I don't even know if that's necessarily the case, but it certainly could be. That though is not the important part for me right now, because what happens with Jonathan Majors is going to happen. It doesn't really matter. It is what it is. What I do know is that he as Kang is no longer a thing.
Nope.
Not even a few hours after the verdict came in, Marvel was like,
nope. Done. Nope. We can't align with you right now.
Which I'm gonna be honest, I think they were gonna do it anyway. Or at least they were going to work very hard to minimize what he had done, which is what it looked like by the time Loki season 2 ended to me. Mm-hmm. You don't really see anything about Victor Timely. They made a very kind of like snide remark about what happened at the end of like Ant-Man. They were like, yeah, there was like a sighting or whatever in the 616, but looks like they take care of it, so we don't need to worry about it. Like,
Yeah.
just kind of brushed it. You know what I mean? And outside of him being like, my variants are already out there, like, whatever.
Yeah.
So the question is, now what?
Mm-hmm.
For the MCU, now what? Jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Do they recast Kang?
I don't think they're going to.
Okay. Want me to tell you what I heard?
Go for it.
I heard a rumor. I like some rumors. I heard a rumor that Denzel Washington
Nope.
is in talks to be cast as an old version of Kang. And that was possibly already a thing before this happened.
And listen. I'd be intrigued to see that, actually.
I wouldn't.
I'd be intrigued to see that.
Still haven't watched Loki season 2, but and 3 looked like they had a way to pivot easily in a new direction for phase whatever big bad. I agree. Though they've really have played Kang up to be the big bad, and I don't think that's what it is.
What you don't want to see Will Smith as Kang? What?
It depends on if his pimp hand is the strongest purple pimp hand you ever seen. All right, Sin.
See.
If it's not Kang, who is the new big bad?
Doom. Dr. Doom.
It's Doom.
Yeah, with
Dr.
Fantastic Four coming in, I know Doom is like their big bad, but Doom is also proven to be like a big major MCU bad. Like he seems like the obvious choice to do it with. And I know from what y'all told me, Kang had ties to Dr. Doom with what was supposed to happen down the line. So it just makes it an easy way just to pivot to Dr. Doom.
Yeah, so with Battle World, with like the original Secret War, the Beyonder showed up. And I'm gonna get that back and read it out loud.
I will gladly. Denzel could do anything though. If he was asked to play Emma Stone in a biopic, he could do it.
Man, he kind of could. I'm with it, Sam. Yeah, so the Beyonder basically kind of comes in, decides to do this whole like good versus evil thing.
Hey, look,
he's the one that constructs Battle World.
Listen, that was the funny thing.
Hey,
listen, that's the variant. We never realized it. Just got swapped out.
Now, I will say this: I am expecting to see Terrence Howard show up as a variant.
It has to.
I am.
It has to happen.
Yeah.
So J. Robert Dean says, "In a what jokes? In a
what?
I know exactly.
Yeah.
Kang Man.
Kang Man.
Yeah, the Beyonder showed up. Basically, Dr. Doom wanted the Beyonder's power, and ends up kind of end up being the big bad in the long stretch of that. So it could be. Jokes. Are we heading towards Avengers versus X-Men?
I think that could be a potential. Like now, with obviously we know the X-Men are here. They're a part of the MCU. As of now, one of the Avengers movies is no longer Kang Dynasty. Is now just titled Avengers 5. Stop.
Right, so they removed Kang Dynasty, which means it won't just be Avengers 5. They're gonna give it a name. They just don't have one.
It's just figuring it out. Hey, we've talked about the Donald Glover thing before,
but Donald Glover is definitely going to be tied to Spider-Man. I don't think.
Not Kang. Yeah. Oh no, not Kang. Yeah, that's no. That's not going to happen.
Biopic does not rhyme with biopic. It's okay. I've heard it pronounced both ways, jokes, and Everybody knew what you meant because they could also read it.
Exactly.
All right, so what about Galactus?
I feel like Fantastic Four. I feel like Galactus could definitely be a big threat because as of right now, like obviously I know everybody says Doom, and I feel like with the expectation of it being Doom, I feel like Marvel will want to try to do something different. Don't get me wrong. I think adding Doom somewhere in the mix, especially with the Fantastic Four now about to be a part of things, I feel like could be a thing. And then obviously Galactus is also a part of the Fantastic Four as well too. And I still feel, even though we finally addressed, the big celestial in the middle of the ocean, like I feel like another celestial should show up. So Galactus, I think can fit in kind of perfectly there.
I'm not mad with Galactus piggybacking off of Doom. Like you're Doom in to kind of set stuff up, and then we got Galactus for the actual end of it. I'm not mad at that.
Hey, listen, if Doom could figure out somehow how to absorb Galactus's powers or like his whole entire thing, hey, dude would be super OP. Then he's the final boss.
Here's my thing. I feel like we may have overshot our target here. Because all right, Kang was a good threat. I feel like Kang was an even keeled like threat when you consider multiverse and all of what it can mean and what that allows you to do from a writing standpoint and as a company to bring people in from different universes like X-Men and so forth or whatever, right? Like I think that whole multiversal thing, I think that works. However, I think Doom, like if you do Secret War and Doom as the big bad of Secret War, then who does the Fantastic Four face off against beyond that? Because it's going to be really hard to care about Mole Man. Like I'm just saying, like if you do Galactus, what do you do beyond that? So when you start thinking in terms of what the MCU is over the next 10 years, they have to already be thinking about what the MCU is over the following 10 years. You understand what I'm saying? And so like, how do you go and screw it? Since he's getting older, as long as they kill him. I just
ruthless aggression.
I don't know what you do, right? So I feel like you kind of have to dial it back. I think that there are maybe better threat levels that lead up to something bigger that we could do. I would be interested in seeing a Mr. Sinister.
I was thinking that too.
Since we're doing X-Men, right? I do think that if you do Avengers versus X-Men, well, now you're talking Phoenix and you're talking the Phoenix Force. And that is major, but it's not necessarily that you have a big bad. You just have a major threat. And you have two varying teams that both want to do good, but have varying ways of doing it, which is a lot of what the X-Men is and always has been. Is, we want the same thing, but we have different tactics, for going about it. K. Dill said, can we let F4 fade into the sunset? Those characters have little depth. We'll rather continue the I Am Number 4 saga from years back. So let's make this clear. I don't know where Joke stands on it. Sin and I both hate the Fantastic Four.
Facts.
I can tell you that I personally think they are the worst Marvel team. Period.
That's so boring.
Wow, wait a minute. Let me run that back. Hold on.
They're at the bottom of your list. Let's just say that. Just to say
like they're like. The Invisible Woman is a straight up menace. She is a menace, bro. I would put the Invisible Woman on any, like if I'm picking 5. Matter of fact, let's do it right now. Let's do 5. Let's pick 5 people to make a superhero team. I'm telling you right now, Invisible Woman's on mine. Sin, give me 5 people. Make a team right now.
Right now?
Right now. Yes, the thing for her right now.
Well, Rogue and Gambit definitely gonna be on there. What the hell? Let's throw Cap on
Rogue
there.
Gambit.
Let's throw Cap on there.
Cap?
Captain America. Let's throw Cap.
Okay.
Yeah, Cap got in my hands.
All right.
You know what? I said it before. I'll throw Scarlet Witch on there.
Scarlet Witch. That's a threat. One more.
I dig that one.
Last but not least, let's just go random. Blink.
That was very random. That was super random, but
Blink.
I'm with it though. I like Blink. Jokes. Give me 5.
So I'm with him. Cap is gonna be on my team.
Red Ranger, Green Ranger,
Shut
White
it.
Ranger.
Shut it. And at some point they figure out how to work them in. Cool, whatever.
No,
but
Fantastic Four are above Superman. Trust and believe me.
Oh, they definitely must.
that is.
Yeah.
But nah, definitely Cap on the team. I want someone with some type of magic ability, whether it's Strange or Wanda. I'm not sure which one. Obviously, Wanda probably, when it comes time for taking care of businesses, she's probably gonna go further than what Doctor Strange would do.
Okay.
I feel like I want a Wolverine on the squad, like in case those times, like somebody just needs to go in that can take a beating. Like I'll put take that back. I'll take Colossus. I'll put Colossus there instead of Wolverine.
Dr. Doom got his doctorate from Chess Technology Institute.
Oh God. Another two. Oh, this is not.
It's tough, right?
Trying to think of someone. I'm trying to do like someone left field.
You should get you a ground level Bama like the Punisher. Just somebody who just.
Hey, listen. You know what?
Wouldn't be mad at it.
Give me Blade. I'll take Blade because I'm sure we're gonna have some Blade. Blade will definitely get into the mix of everything.
Okay.
We got a fighter. We got some magic. We got the vampire. What piece of element am I missing out of here right now? Cosmic. You know what? Give me Silver Surfer.
I mean, that's a little overkill, but all right. I give it to you.
Give me Silver Surfer.
That's definitely overkill. I would accuse you of cheating if I hadn't put you on the spot to come up with that team. Would.
It's always got to be one OP Bam on the team.
Hey, bro, if you give me Iceman and Invisible Woman, I'm done. I don't really need nobody else. But you know I'm gonna put Spider-Man on the first. Not the niggas. Easy.
Hey, they about to be singing and dancing over top of everybody.
Hey, Robert Dean said there's a panel where Sue Storm reminds Doom all she has to do is close off his oxygen and slowly crush him inside his arm with a single thought. Sue is one of the most dangerous in Marvel. Let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. That's how she shut down Magneto. Magneto was destroying everybody, and she just made a bubble around his lung and shut him down. Like, she's a threat, bro. Like, she's really don't get me wrong. Like, clearly, like, the Human Torch could be a threat. He just happens to be a jerk. Like, Ben Grimm, I don't think Slim can be anybody. I think Colossus will punish Slim. The Hulk will clearly punish Slim. I think Chrome Guy will punish Slim. Yeah. And for real, matter of fact, I think Casey Jones will beat the trash out of Ben Grimm. Like, and like, don't get me wrong. Like,
Casey Jones with a hockey stick.
Mr. Fantastic is a threat. Like, there's potential. There's so much potential for him to be a threat, but they always let his intellect actually get in the way of how threatening he can be. And he seems so corny just because he can stretch. And it's like, But like, we've had discussions. I mean, these go back to like the very beginning of Loading Snacks, like 10 years ago. We talked about like how we could actually make the Fantastic Four cool.
Oh, we had the best way. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I have to go back.
It was dope. But like,
goodness.
It's old. It was like a live that we did, but it was literally like, for real. I'm like, if you was to take Mr. Fantastic and just make it that like he doesn't actually stretch, he could just move parts of his body faster than like the speed of light. Like he's moving at like a ridiculous speed, and so he's not like they just. It was a lot of potential in it, but like the Fantastic Four just. I get it. They were the first superhero team, you know what I mean, that Marvel had, and so whatever. They granted them cosmic powers, and we were like, it would be dope if the Fantastic Four wasn't people, it was an entity. Like if instead of the Fantastic Four being like, oh, this cosmic radiation came through and whatever, if it was like it could have been anybody. But the Fantastic Four is like a cosmic entity that actually chooses 4 people at random. And that's the abilities they get. And like even if you already have abilities, so like if you're a Wolverine, you could get the Thing's powers too on top of it, and it just chooses. It would have been so dope if they just made it a cosmic entity instead of being almost like the Phoenix Force. How like the Phoenix was a thing, and now all of a sudden it's like, well, it could be 5 people or whatever. They stole that from us. But the Fantastic Four is just like old and antiquated, and like the story of them and like how they get their power and like all of it is just so. I just don't care. And in a lot of ways, I feel the same way about the X-Men. Like I loved the X-Men, but I loved a very specific version of the X-Men. And again, I've said it on this show many times. I don't want the same X-Men we already got. I just don't. I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing them come back for the sake of like, oh man, look, it's them, like nostalgia points. You know what I mean? Like we brought Tobey Maguire back, so let's bring, you know what I mean? Like there is some of that I could deal with. But if we're gonna do a new movie or whatever, like I want new mutants. I want new people. I want new there are so many mutants. And now that we're making people mutants who weren't mutants, but were supposed to be mutants or whatever, because of this Terrigen thing or whatever,
just have fun with it.
It's just so many different ways they could go, and I would just rather see them do it that way. You know what I mean? So,
not to mention they could always try the Inhumans again. Like the show failed, but
I mean,
we can be easy
it's
on
not
that
necessary.
Yeah, we can be easy on that for now. Let's just run with regular mutants, X-Men. Just let's see what we can do there.
Look, if my understanding, this is again, I've been doing some digging. My understanding is they don't even want to touch Magneto. That if anything, they might want to bring the young one and the old one together for like a quick thing or whatever, and that's it. I agree. The New Mutants film actually did have some potential. It was actually pretty cool. And I like that they kind of went off into a slightly different genre and tried to kind of do a little bit of a horror thing with it. But I liked it. Again, introducing characters like Magic, just like Magic, like you could just, there's so much potential there. I think there are so many other characters they could bring in that have potential to be a big bad or be a threat, but it's hard to do that. Like if you do Doom, then you almost have to do Doom bots, and we already saw that with Ultron. You know, like so, like you just, how do you make Doom that kind of a threat, and how do you make it so that Doom just has the ability to just go after somebody else's power? Like, how do you give him that? What just makes him that threatening? Like, I don't. Can I see it? Yes. Do I want to? Not really. But Sinister?
Then we've been waiting. We've been talking about for Sinister for years now. Like, easy threat. And like, obviously he's had spats with the X-Men, but it's like Sinister easily can go between almost any of the MCU characters,
100%,
in some shape or form. So I just would like if they did a Sinister. It's just like who would you want to see play Sinister? Like I haven't quite figured that one out.
You're right. Okay, there are a lot of stories that can be told. And I almost feel like what needs to happen right now, I feel like the MCU needs a bit of a reset where they go back and allow themselves to tell those stories. Because I feel like we immediately jumped into the next huge threat level event, right? The next extinction level event. So we went from Thanos immediately into Kang. We didn't kind of really back up and really like
start telling
give new characters a chance to develop and give them their own threats to deal with. right?
They
Where we get to
started.
grow with these characters.
Like, I feel like they started and then it just kind of Shang-Chi. Like, I feel like they gave us a good story, a new character that someone could be interested in, but now he's literally just I don't know where Shang-Chi is.
We should be waiting for a trilogy at this point now from him. Like,
Well, that's what I'm saying.
waiting for part 3.
But that would have been, to me, the right direction to go. Right? You introduce a character like that, the movie does well, people like it. Let's keep going down that path. Right? You have great supporting characters that people know from other stuff like Wong. Right? You've done a great job of tying it into like Iron Man 3, and what the 10 rings thing is, right? And that kind of sort of does, but doesn't really ever play out all the way out through the Marvels. You know what I'm saying? So like there just was a lot of potential there that, like, all right, well, what are we doing? Right. And so if She-Hulk is over and they fired Tatiana Maslany, what are they gonna do? Yeah, like 2 weeks ago. FF can be
heard
good.
that.
The problem is they try hard to make them a cool and relevant. Just write a good story, let the other two things happen. I think that there is an issue with the dynamic of the Fantastic. So here's what I think has to happen. I think that for the Fantastic Four to have a really good movie, they have to manage to do a great job of focusing on the family aspect of the team and the relationship that they have with one another. That has to be at the core of what they do. And I don't honestly think you can do a great job of that in one film. I think it's going to take more than one film. However, the dynamic of brother and sister, husband, wife, best friend, it has to be really clean. And I honestly think they might do better by going beyond the Fantastic Four and introducing the kids, because I think once you put Franklin Richards in it, you want a whole different route. I think if they went a Spider-Man route and did a Future Foundation, that's a possibility. You know what I mean? Depending on what they do with it. But I do think that, like, I think that at this point, with who the Fantastic Four are, you can't really just do the four. I think you need to add the kids. I think you need to see a mother and a father who are trying to like, dog.
Okay.
So what was the name of that show that came out on Fox?
With Michael Chiklis in it.
The Shield?
Yeah, from the Shield. No, it's not the Shield. It's when they were superhero. They were a superhero family.
Not the Shield.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. No. No, it wasn't Michael Chiklis. It was a man. That joint had like Warpath, Blink. It had
the X-Men joint. Oh god.
Yeah, it was like an X-Men show.
The Gifted.
The Gifted.
The Gifted.
That show was incredible. It was incredible, and it was a brother and a sister getting powers, trying to figure things out. A mother and a father, like if they can like land that, they might really have something. But if they don't land that, then I don't think the Fantastic Four hits. I think the Fantastic Four is a terrible name.
It is. It's boring as hell. It's
terrible.
What do you mean? They're
garbage.
fantastic.
Exactly.
Joke stop.
Which is a cleaning agent. It's a cleaning agent, bro.
I can see that.
Like,
I can see it on the shelf and dry food. I gotta get that Fantastic Four. I got this stain, dog. I just cannot get out this comic.
No,
these four elements together.
Bro, I'm not making that up. That's a cleaning agent. You can buy some right now. It's just called Fantastic. Oh, look at him looking it up.
Oh,
it's a spray, bro. It's like
it is a spray
409.
bottle, Joe. Like, I even know that.
It's like 409. I'm not making it up.
I've never said you was.
Listen, he don't believe you.
Okay.
He gotta go. He gotta
You
go.
bring it up like
I don't like the Fantastic Four, so this gives me more ammunition against them. Okay, I want to know about it.
Yeah, I think the name is terrible. I don't think Avengers was a corny name, but like, I think kids could get behind it. I don't think kids can get behind the Fantastic Four. I don't think kids can get behind wanting to be Reed Richards. I don't think kids will want to dress up like them for Halloween. I think there's a huge difference in what it takes to
you
do,
get Spider-Man and get the Future Foundation suit. Maybe then they'll want to dress up as the Fantastic Four.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, then it's not the Fantastic Four, it's the Future Foundation. And even then, I'm just saying, like, bro, like we barely get old grown people who want to dress as the Fantastic Four for cosplay.
No, nobody dresses as him for cosplay. They dress as Luffy.
Now it happened.
They will dress as Mr. Fantastic.
Now that stretchy guy,
we like him. We'll dress up as him, not this stretchy guy.
Nah.
I'm just saying, like, I just don't think, again, like, I think that Ben Grimm needs control over, like, rocks. I think he needs to be able to be different kind of rocks and, like, can
something, yeah.
Like, he can't just be a pumpkin man. Like, he just can't. He can't.
Just be a pile of crumbs.
It just don't work.
All it is.
Just give him his thing rings. Let him do his thing.
Joe, shut up. Shut up. Please.
Yeah. All right. So with that, y'all, we're going to close the show.
Joe, you should be ashamed of yourself for that one.
Hey, listen.
Hey, give his thing rings. Let him do his thing.
Yep. Can you tell us fast jokes bedtime, y'all?
Hey, listen, I'll never forget this. I was just so weird. Thing ring, do your thing.
Nah, we had enough of you, dog.
He over there in tears. He is entertaining himself right now.
I'm pretty sure he's so happy with himself right now. Here's what I say. I think that I'm sure they already have a plan in place, but I do think they have their work cut out for them. I don't think it's going to be really hard to just kind of act like Kang didn't happen.
Yeah, I was over here looking for that Jones too. Yeah, if you can find that, yeah, please do. But I'm sure. Listen, Marvel probably already had like 4 or 5 ideas that they were already in line. They picked the Kang one out of the list.
The second everything happened with Jonathan Majors, like I told you, we was talking last night or whatever jokes. Like we knew Disney was back there. Like y'all start writing up something to get us out of this, like for storyline purposes. Just be.
They already had it. Listen, there's a drawer, a contingency drawer that they just go to. Well, he's done. Let's open this up, and we're gonna pick the next best option out of here for it.
Second TMZ ran with that story. They had somebody like, let's work on something in case this goes left. So we're just already on it.
They just waited to see what was gonna happen. Like Gage said, they probably gonna wait to see what the judgment and everything was gonna be before they quietly said we're not gonna do this. But once they landed that verdict, it was just like, yeah, we can't be tied to you right now. Not why you got all this going on.
So, all right, hold on. Lord Jesus. This is Cosmic Book News. She-Hulk cancer Tatiana Maslany fired by Marvel. Currently going viral on YouTube and TikTok. Claims the actor and show was done for in the MCU. It's claimed that Marvel is canceling She-Hulk series on Disney Plus, with fans even questioning if Tatiana Maslany has been fired from the MCU. Daniel RBK said Kevin Feige is considering a She-Hulk season 2. It is being claimed the opposite. She-Hulk originally planned to have a season 2, but due to poor reception, it's probably not going to happen. States the account. Snow She-Hulk is the second least watched Marvel series on Disney Plus, right behind Ms. Marvel, which also happens to be rumored to potentially get a season 2. Blah blah blah. They haven't officially announced a Ms. Marvel or She-Hulk season 2, but according to the writer of the MCU book, Marvel is scrapping projects.
You wouldn't want to see him when he's angry. Hey, listen, hey, Sin, he'll get angry and he's gonna be sending people to Pelican Bay.
Alonzo come out.
What this says, so what this says is that while they are saying that the second season is canceled, that she has not officially been fired, but that because she made some very specific statements against Bob Iger during the strikes, that
that'll
that's where that's
do it.
coming from.
Okay.
That'll
It doesn't
definitely.
necessarily mean that's the case, but that's where it's coming from. It's basically that she made some statements during the strike against Bob Iger and the statements that he made during that time frame. And so now that the rumors are swirling that the second season is canceled, people are basically saying that they think that she's fired, which may or may not be the case.
I mean, they already placed one Hulk. I mean, they can do it again.
I mean, listen, they added a new Hulk at the end of her
Yep.
show,
Which they obviously have plans for. We know.
I mean, what are they gonna do? You know, Amani out there recruiting. So, I don't know. I don't know, man. I think they got a lot of work cut out for them. I am very interested to see how What If turns out. That drops this week, doesn't it?
Oh, wait, is that?
If it's not this week, it's literally like days. Like,
hold on,
it's this week or next week? Yeah,
Because
because it runs to the 30th. If I'm right, I think it runs to the 30th. 9 days straight.
Yeah, because they said they were going to drop an episode every day.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the 30th is the last day. Because I'm pretty sure I remember it being the same day as World's End.
Yep, the 22nd.
Not to mention something from the What If can easily spill over into the MCU.
Very true.
And change.
Well, I mean, What If is canon, so it's definitely going to be a thing. And we know that apparently, at least one of the episodes from this season is one of the ones that they dropped from last season. Because if you remember, there was that whole thing with Iron Man and Gamora that like never aired. They show them like at the end, but you never see them actually do anything together. You remember? Because Iron Man had like a whole different suit, and he was and like I got they had minifigs for them that
that's right.
I got.
Yeah.
Like they
look, Zanny just said that. Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. Yep. There's a whole Lego set for it, and it was like, and that episode just didn't happen. So apparently that episode got added into this season.
Yeah, I need to rewatch. Run through that real quick. What if?
I'm guessing it's the What If Gamora's killed Thanos.
Probably.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Sounds right to me because she definitely is rocking that glaive, and
yeah.
Well, I got a poster of it right here.
Hey, listen, that'll be the universe. Try to bring Tony Stark back.
Yeah. So
what if Wanda bodied Thanos? Like between Wanda and Captain Marvel.
Yeah. That means that we need to end this show and have a really strong discussion about how we doing Spoiler Boys. Like right now. So I want to thank everybody for hanging out and tuning in today. I would love for you all to just, if you know what, feel free to just start sending me your 5 heroes. Like, give me your, like, if you were making a team, give me your 5. I would love to have it. I'm gonna get some images and put a little thing together. Remember we did our top villains? That was so great. We need to do our team. So we'll do a thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing y'all.
Yeah, just let's just do the Marvel.
Just Marvel. Yeah, just
Marvel. Yeah, just Marvel. Let's keep it. You know,
I use my pull-up images.
So listen, I want to thank everybody for hanging out with us all year. I hope everybody has a wonderful holiday. We won't see you again before the Christmas holiday, but we will be back the day after the Christmas holiday for our final show, our final weekly of 2023. Before we go into the madness that is 2024, we are going to be doing Popeyes and Pajamas. We'll be playing some Baldur's Gate 3 for New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. So yeah, I just want to thank everybody for their continued support all year long. We're going to talk about some of our favorite things in next week's episode, we're gonna talk about some of our stuff throughout the year, but we're gonna be putting together some lists that we'll put out like the second week of January that kind of talk about some of our favorite things from all throughout the year. We'll have links and all that kind of stuff for people, some of our favorite gifts and gadgets and podcasts and just stuff like that we're gonna put together and compile. And we may even be reaching out to some of you all to give us some of your favorites. We'll be looking to compile some things together as we grace 2024, just before we hit MagFest in that third week. That second week we have Nerd Prom, so that is coming up very quickly on the 12th of January.
Yes, sounds right.
And then, like I said, the following week after that we have MagFest, which is going to be bananas. And then we got our panel accepted for KatsuCon. So we'll be at KatsuCon with the panel. Then we follow that with ChromaCon, first weekend in March, followed by AwesomeCon, second weekend in March. It's already busy. And that didn't even include Nerdpocalypse, which is like right after that.
Yeah.
And then StellarCon York, which is like right after that. So yeah. So we're busy and we're gonna keep being busy. I can feel my medicine kicking in, y'all. So while I'm feeling all right, I'm gonna break out of here. Jokes, if you could do me a favor and put the Beacons link up for everybody, that would be wonderful. While he's doing that, Sin, if you could do your job,
yes,
I'd appreciate
shout
that.
out the top tier patrons, starting with Anthony Cunningham, Marcus Houston, Susan Dortch, Tyrone Carson, Meticulous Skin, Alex Lee, Ellis Mbe, Kermit Ferguson. Pretty sure that's everybody. Thank you very much. We truly appreciate it.
As a matter of fact, we do. Again, everybody have a wonderful, safe, and happy holiday. We look forward to seeing you guys on the 26th. So until then, Jokes, tell them what I need them to know.
And remember, y'all, just because you have a well thought out plan doesn't make it a good idea.
With that, we're out. Toodles and loose.